In this video, we are going to go over arguably the single most important thing you can do to increase your longevity. Hi, I'm Dr. Clay Sankey, chiropractor and owner of TruMotion Therapy in Charlotte. And this month, we are focusing our videos on how you can improve your longevity. That's improving your lifespan, how long you live, and your health span, the quality of those years. And arguably the single most important thing you can do to improve your lifespan is to improve your cardiorespiratory fitness. That is improving how well you do at endurance or aerobic activity. And we measure your ability to do aerobic activity with something called a VO2 max. Now your VO2 max is how efficiently your body uses the oxygen that you take in while exercising. So the VO2 max is just a number. So if you have someone who is a world-class triathlete, they're going to have a much higher VO2 max than someone who's a couch potato. They've found that some of the highest VO2 maxes in the world measure in the 80s or 90s. And you have your average person, which may hover around your 30s or 40s. So if you can increase that number, you're going to be better off. Now, we'll go over how you can measure and improve your own VO2 max in a minute. But it is important to know that they have found that being in the top 2.5% as opposed to being in the bottom 25% of VO2 max decreases your all-cause mortality by 5 times. Okay, so that doesn't mean that we need to aspire to be in that top 2.5, although if you do, that's fantastic. It just means that if you can work to improve your VO2 max, one standard deviation, just a little bit, you're going to decrease your likelihood of dying by all causes. Now, our VO2 max naturally declines 10% each decade after the age of 30 if you're not doing anything. But if you're doing some of the things that we're about to go over in a minute, you can reverse this process. So it's really important that we work on this, and this is something we should be doing weekly, right? Add it into the weekly routine. So before we go into how you can improve your VO2 max, we need to talk about how you can measure it, because it's really important that if you are going to try to improve something, that you have ways to track it over time so you know you're doing the right thing. So there's different ways that you can measure your VO2 max, and you don't need to be very accurate with it, but you just need to have it be reproducible, right? So if you do a test that might not be the gold standard for measuring your VO2 max, that's okay. You just need to make sure whatever you're doing it consistently over time. So the gold standard would be going to a lab, or there's places nearby. You can look this up. You can look up VO2 max testing near me, and they'll put you on a treadmill or a bike. They'll put a mask on your face. That mask measures the percentage of oxygen and carbon dioxide that you're taking in and breathing out, and it will measure your VO2 max very accurately. But you don't have to do that. Often a lot of the wearables that we have will estimate your VO2 max for you. That's a really good way of measuring that. You can also do a home test called a Cooper's test. That's where you run or walk very hard for 12 minutes. You can look that up and get some of the details on that. That's easy to find online. I won't go through it now, but I would find a very reproducible way that you can go through and measure your VO2 max. Even once a quarter or twice a year can be great. So look up VO2 max testing near you, check it on your wearable, or do the Cooper's test. So there are two main types of workouts that you're going to want to do throughout your week to ensure you're going to improve your VO2 max. Okay, the first one is going to be Zone 2 training. Zone 2 training is easy, sustained activity. Okay, this is going to be about 60 to 70% of your max heart rate, or an activity that you can sustain while carrying on a conversation with somebody else. Okay, so we want to do about 30 to 60 minutes of Zone 2 training in a session, about 3 to 4 days a week. Okay, so that's going to be your easy pace. That can be on a bike, it can be walking, it can be running, it can be on an elliptical, whatever you like. Put that 60 to 70% or conversational pace, Zone 2 training, 3 to 4 times a week for 30 to 60 minutes. The second thing you're going to want to do is VO2 max intervals. This is where the magic happens. This is where we bring that heart rate up close to those max levels, 90% max heart rate, or just pushing really hard, okay? And a good way to do this is 4 sets of 4-minute intervals at that high intensity pace, and then you've got a 4-minute break in between. It is really important to warm up really good before doing these, but you can do these intervals while running, you can do them walking, cycling, elliptical, same thing that you would be doing for your zone 2 training, you can do for your VO2 max intervals. So again, 4 by 4 minutes at that 90 or redlining that heart rate, and you want to do this 1 to 2 times per week. So beyond improving our lifespan, how long we live, we want to make sure that we're improving our health span, the quality of those years. And if you're starting off at potentially a subpar VO2 max in your 30s, and you're naturally going to decline 10% with each decade, where's that going to leave you when you're 70 or 80, right? Those are the years where you want to be, enjoying time with your grandchildren, going for hikes with your spouse, potentially you're retired and you want to do some traveling or something like that. Well, it's really important that we focus on this VO2 max training early, so when that natural decline occurs, you have more in the bank, okay? So store that aerobic capacity in the bank for when you're really gonna need it. You might not feel very limited in your 30s or 40s, but that time can come, so it's important that we really work on that early. And they've found that it's never too late. If you're in your 60s right now and you're not happy with your VO2 max or your cardiorespiratory fitness, you still can improve. The body's an incredible thing. We can improve. So it's important to start working on that, and that's what we want to preach here. And we work with a lot of musculoskeletal pain and injuries, chronic back pain. Well, cardiorespiratory fitness or aerobic activity is one of the best things you can do for pain and dysfunction. So we highly recommend that. And we're here to help if you need guidance or you need to find a coach or you have pain that's limiting you from doing these activities. Be sure to give us a call or reach out. I hope this video was helpful. And again, if you need anything from our end, we're here to help. Visit us online at TruMotionTherapy.com to learn more or to reach out.